Welcome to the Dram Amateur Podcast. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Dram Amateur Podcast. My name is Jason. Thank you all so much for joining today. I appreciate you listening to me. If you do not follow me on social media, you can find me on Instagram under Dram_Amateur. That is the home of the Dram Amateur Podcast. You'll see all pictures of my collection or selection, whatever I want to call it. I don't know, whatever. I try not to call it a collection because I try to open everything and enjoy it, like literally. Like I heard somebody say that before. I don't remember who I heard it from before. I don't like to just have things closed. I do have plenty of closed bottles because I can't open everything. So I like to call it a selection because if you come to my house and you say, hey, I want to drink that bottle, there's not one bottle that I wouldn't open for you because that's just the way I am. I don't give a shit. Drink it. You know what? I need somebody to come live next to me so you can help me, so you can be cool and you can come help me drink this shit because I have too much. And I keep buying. I don't know why I'm bitching. Anyways, find me on Instagram under Dram_Amateur. You can also find me on Facebook under the Dram Amateur Podcast. Either place, I'd love to interact with you. If you don't follow me on either one, please do. Totally would appreciate the support. But yeah, definitely reach out and let me know what you like about the podcast, what you don't like, where I can improve, topics you want to hear me talk about. I got a lot. So today's topic of conversation is going to be community my ass. Today's going to be a little spicy, I think, come around. And man, I hate to say this, but some of my podcasts, I'm trying not to be negative Nelly about stuff. I saw this posted recently, and I saw a post posted on Facebook. I'll tell you more about it here in a little bit. I'm not going to give specifics, but I'll tell you about the situation. And I was like, oh, you know what? I got to talk about that. Like this community aspect of this bourbon community or whatever you want to call it sometimes is a bunch of bullshit. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's like this, but it is. So I know some of my other podcasts have been like, little Debbie Downer lately or whatever, but just stick with me on this one. This one's an interesting one too. A little taken aback. So anyway, drinking digest time. So some things drinking digest is a little bit about some of the pours that I have in between my podcasts to let you guys know what I've been drinking, what I've been enjoying. I don't take pictures of everything and post it on social media. So I try to in time eventually, but not everything every time. So I'll share with you a little bit that I did. First of all, killed a bottle of Russell's private selection. And I have one bottle left. They are increasingly impossible to find. For some reason, I've had a lot of luck with Old Forester single barrel strengths recently. The last podcast you heard me talk about, I found one at a local store that was selling it. I ended up buying another bottle. So that one was like the one I bought a couple weeks ago. Sorry, I'm scratching my head trying to think of what it was. I think it's a Warehouse I Floor 3. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I bought another one too. Man, I got lucky, like literally really lucky. So I found another Old Forester single barrel strength. It's a G6. It's a Warehouse G Floor 6 because I was like, when I got it, I was like a G6, like a G6, and the old dance song, like a G6. So yeah, I was singing that. So it's a Warehouse G Floor 6. So that's pretty cool too. And I think that bottle, from what I understand, that barrel only yielded 100. What do you say? Like 120 bottles, 130 bottles. So it's going to be a shorter barrel too. So hopefully it's pretty good. I'm excited to try both. I haven't cracked either one. I haven't had the time. I posted on Instagram when I bought the first bottle that I'm a whore for Old Forester. Especially the single barrel strength stuff like that. I'm a 1920 fan. Old label 1920. We'll get into that another time. Like new label 1910. Would love to have a 1924. I'm not going to pay over secondary for. I'm not going to pay secondary prices for it. I will pay retail, and that's it. Everybody else can go pound sand if they think I'm going to pay more than retail for it. But I heard it's okay. But I'd like to have a bottle. I think it'd be pretty cool. That's something I'm going to go crazy on. Like if I see it for more than one, I think MSRP is 115. If it's more than 115, they can kiss my ass. I'm not paying even 120 for it. It's just, no, I'm not doing it. I refuse. So, so kill the bottle of, I went, oh wow, I went down a rabbit hole. Holy shit. Sorry about that. I killed a bottle of Russell's. Russell's and Old Forester single barrel strengths have been they are two of my favorite, two of my favorites from a pick perspective. You know me, I'm a Jack Daniel's Wild Turkey Old Forester person. Not the high level Old Forester. I'm not a birthday bourbon series one. I've never had a series anniversary 150 or whatever they call those. I don't think I've only had one birthday bourbon that we won at a lottery before. And it was terrible. It was the worst bourbon. I think one of the worst bourbons I've ever tasted. But I don't think I have had anything else like high end from Old Forester. Like I haven't had the President's Choice or whatever they call it. So I really like their core stuff, and like the single barrel strength stuff. I've had a couple bangers of that stuff that I absolutely love and enjoy. And the Russell's, man, Russell's Wild Turkey stuff. I mean, come on, man, anything Wild Turkey. Well, I shouldn't say anything. And that's the other thing too. I really haven't had anything like crazy from Wild Turkey either. Like I haven't had like any of the special releases or the limited edition releases, like the Generation or the what's some of the other ones that they did. Some of the other special release ones that come in like the box and all this stuff. I haven't had those either. I've had some Dusty. I had a sip of a pour of a Dusty one time, which was awesome. But yeah, those Russell's single barrel, like private store selection picks are amazing. Anytime I would ever see one, I would buy one. The last time I found one was at Total Wine. Oh God, it was a while ago now. I bought 2 bottles. I haven't seen one since. That was a year and a half, 2 years ago, I think. So so I killed a bottle of that. I have 1 bottle left. But that would be a daily that would be something I keep on my shelf all the time. Those things. So like now my Old Forester single barrel strengths. I think I've got 12 bottles right now of different ones. No, I got 1 duplicate. Oh God, I'm sitting here thinking. Yeah, I got 1 duplicate, but I got quite a few because I have 3 or 4 open downstairs, 4 open downstairs, 2 upstairs in the bar rack. A ton unopened right now. My God, I must have 6 bottles unopened right now. But anyway, I'm digressing. Sorry. So those are my 2 favorites. So I found another one of those. That was awesome. So killed the bottle of Russell's. I went down a whole rabbit hole about Old Forester single barrel strength because I killed a Russell's Reserve Private Select Barrel one. Yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, so that got killed. The other thing I bought recently was a rum that I had been wanting to buy. I've almost pulled the trigger on it online a few times, and I didn't. But I'm glad I did this time because it was retail. The other time it was not retail, and that's why I was like, man, I'm not gonna do it. So I bought a bottle of Black Tot limited edition 2021 Masters Blend Reserve rum. So it's celebrating the history of the Royal Navy rum. So this is a blend of rums from different areas. So from Guyana, Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica, Australia. So this is pretty cool. The 2021 edition celebrates the 100th anniversary of the last rum ration given to the Australian Navy sailors when serving on British ships. So that's a pretty cool story. So let me open the tube. It comes in a really nice tube, like a nice white tube. Let me get my, oh, good Lord, jeez. The top on this is pretty cool. It's got like a, oh, this is gonna make a noise. Oh, sorry if that made a ton of noise for you guys. I put the tin down on my glass desk. So got a nice wooden top on it. So this is a blend, like I said, from those areas. So from Trinidad, Barbados, Guyana, Australia, Jamaica, and Trinidad again. Distillers. So within this, there are percentages then. So Trinidad Distillers, Foursquare Distillery, Demerara Distillers, Bentley Distillers, Hampton Distillery. And then what they do is they include a percentage from the last release of this. So there was a 2020 release. So they include a portion of that. And then they also include a small percentage from like and I forget the story behind it. And I still couldn't find the damn thing, but the original like rum that was, from back in the day. I do not, God dang it. I couldn't find it. Let me look it up, see if I can figure out what it is, but it like the original rum. So every blend has that in it. So when you have the blend, is this going to make sense? When you get the rum, mine has 0.3% from the original Royal Navy blend. And then it also has 14.1% of the last release. And that had some in it. Does that make sense? I think it did. So anyways, so that's what is in it. Let me try to see if I can figure out what it is. Tasting notes, palate, finish. Yeah, this is really good podcast content. Me just scrolling through my freaking phone. So there is 17-year-old. Yeah, there's 17-year-old Demerara, 13.5%. 10-year-old Foursquare. 11-year-old Trinidad, 10-year-old Trinidad, 24-year-old Trinidad, 9-year-old Jamaican, which is Hampton, 14-year-old Australian. Here it is. So the British Royal Navy World Blend. So the 0.3% World Blend of original Navy rums continuously blended in wooden vats from the early 1800s through to 1970. So that's pretty cool, right? I mean, come on, man. You're drinking something, at least 0.3% of it's really old. So that's pretty neat. Anyway, I thought it was pretty cool, pretty interesting. It's really good stuff. It is exactly like you would imagine a rum to be. Great flavor. Tasting notes are really good. Lots of fruit, lots of tropical fruit. Lots of you get a little bit of the funk on it too. So it's cool because you're blending a little bit of the Trinidad and the Hampton, which is a little funky, with the sweetness of like the Foursquare and the Demerara. Really good stuff. I really like it. Very like citrusy, very tropical fruity. There's a little bit of mint in it. I remember a little bit of like obviously you get a banana note in it, like you always do. A lot of it, you get a chocolate note in it too. So it's a really great rum. The price is fantastic. It's definitely something that if you are into rum or you want to try something and spend a little bit more money, it is a good bottle to buy. All right. I spent way too much fucking time on that. Sorry. I should have been more. See, this is what happens. I don't have a lot of time. We go through this every fucking, and I hear do the background noise of me trying to close this thing is going to be a shit show. We go through this every time. I need more time in my life. Can I have like 36-hour days? Wish I could. I'd have more time to plan for things and to do things and all that stuff. But yeah, like this morning, like I've been up since forever, like cooking breakfast and making stuff for lunch and cleaning and this and that. Like I need an hour to go sit down and record a podcast. So just even finding an hour sometimes is hard to do. But anyway, so all right, that's it for Drinking Digest. Sorry I went down that was the rabbit hole Drinking Digest. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's what I've been drinking lately. So we'll see what I get myself into next time. But okay, let's jump into the podcast here a little bit today, and talk about something that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth, and the community my ass topic sometimes really kind of comes to play. So I'm going to try to go about this politically correct. but I'm just like, I'm a little taken aback by it. And I'm a little surprised by it. And maybe it's just me. So like, I would really like to even hear your feedback on what I'm about to talk about, because maybe I'm just being a boomer. Maybe I'm not. Maybe this is normal. I listen, and I'll give you a little bit of background why I struggle with this. Hold on, let me take a drink. When I joined this thing, when I joined and gotten into bourbon, all I heard, and listen, you still continue to hear it. So if you tell me you don't, then I'm going to tell you you're lying. That was harsh, but it's the truth. You always hear about this community aspect of it, okay? And it's things like I'm about to tell you about that really bugs me. When I first got into this, I met Pints, Pipes, and Drams. I met Michael, and I met Jordan, who's Woodstock Whiskey Society on Instagram, and like was welcomed in with open arms. Like I met them at a local sushi place for lunch one day to try to get them, just to meet them for the first time and get to know them. Like Jordan brought me a sample of like Blanton's Gold. Like it was a 1 ounce sample. Like dude did not have to do that, right? I mean, that's cool as fuck, right? Like seriously, like who goes into their collection but grabs a bottle of Blanton's Gold, which is hard to find. I've never seen a Blanton's Gold anywhere. I've seen it at people's houses. I've never seen it on a shelf anywhere. I also see what it goes for. I mean, back then probably wasn't as much, right? But still, I mean, who does that, right? That's cool as shit. A cool person does that. Somebody believes in the community aspect of this, right? So that's the way I was introduced to this, right? And I continue to always hear it's a great community. It's an amazing community. I see charity things that happen for people, right? People have major accidents that impact their lives and impact their family. And there's a lot of people that then donate to that. I know that there's community releases of bottles, where people, have done barrel picks and they've bottled it. And then a portion of that goes to charity. That's cool as shit, man. Like that's the way it should be. Like everything that you do, should be around the community aspect of it. And let me tell you something too. The community aspect, whether it's community within the community that you're in, as far as like the bourbon community or the tequila community or the rum, I don't care that, but also your local community too, right? There's the word community goes a long way, and it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Community can just mean just about you and your friend group. That's a community, right? So when I was introduced to this, right, I see all of these community aspects of it. I had a bottle that you guys all, if you go back and look at one of my posts, I don't know if you heard the story or not. I don't even know if I told it on here. I think I did. But anyway, there was a bottle of bourbon that I tried at a restaurant in Chattanooga. That was fantastic. It's an Old Forester single barrel strength, probably my favorite pour of that ever. You couldn't buy it. So the restaurant did a pick for themselves because they have a group of restaurants. The people that were part of the pick team got to buy a few bottles. They did a very, very limited release of it to the public, and then it's not available. So when I tried it at the restaurant, I asked the owner, can I have a bottle? He says, you can't. It's not for sale. I can't sell it out of the restaurant anyway. So that's what it is. So community-wise, here goes the community aspect of it. My buddy, Jordan, he went and posted it on a Chattanooga page and asked if anybody had a bottle, if they'd be willing to part with it. Sure enough, somebody came forward and said, hey, I have one. I ended up getting extra bottles in case this exact thing happened, because he knew it was limited. He wanted to buy some extra bottles in case it happened, that he could go and offer it to somebody. And I ended up getting a bottle of it, which is the coolest fucking thing ever, right? And that's community, right? You know that there's something that's very hyper limited that somebody's going to want, and you go beyond your way to get extras of the bottle, hold on to it until somebody reaches out or you hear about it, and then you sell them the bottle, right? Like that's cool as shit, right? There's a lot of, so that to me. So you're talking about community as far as like charity stuff for your local community. You're talking about community within the groups that you're in. And then you're talking about community as far as like just your friendship groups, right? So that's pretty cool. I joined a Facebook group a while back. As far as I recall, and I can't look anymore for reasons, there wasn't a restriction that you had to buy bottles to become part of this group. So it's a group centered around something. Well, how am I going to say this politically without giving? Because listen, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, and I'm not about doing that. So I'm going to talk in general terms just to get through this, because I just want your opinion, and I want to share my opinion because it's still, I'm reading the post right now. It's pissing me off. I'm glad I'm not part of this damn group anymore, because this is not about community. It's when you join a group on a page in Facebook, right? I would think that if you're part of that group, you're part of that group, that community of people. If there are restrictions to be part of that group, then they need to be clearly stated. And again, I don't recall this that I'm about to kind of talk to you about. I don't recall this being one of the restrictions. And I remember that there's people that respond to this post like, yo, I'll tell you here in a minute. Anyway, so there was a post that was put recently in Facebook into one of these groups, right? I bought a bottle from this group. I enjoyed the posts from this group. I believe that I even have people I follow on Instagram that's part of this group. And I enjoyed the comments, the camaraderie. I interacted with people sometimes. Yes, not frequently because I'm not on social media a lot, especially Facebook. But it was, again, you're part of a group on Facebook that you interact with a ton of people on it, right? So there was a post that was put out a few weeks ago that said the very first thing that on the post was purge info. So naturally I'm like, oh, this is interesting, right? Like, why are you purging, right? Like, what is the point? Like, what's going on, right? So the post goes on to talk about the members in the group that have been part of the group for a certain amount of time and had never purchased a bottle, or that were members of the group that had, it's just members of the group that hadn't purchased a bottle in an X amount of time. Never have or haven't in X amount of time. Again, so the purge info saying that all of these members that are a part of this group are going to be purged because you didn't buy a bottle. It even says like, hey, don't take it personally. It's for the betterness of the group going forward. Different group after this week. It's going to look like a different group after a week. It's like, it kind of, it set me in the wrong tone. It just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know if people understand like the way that this looks to outside individuals. I read a lot of the comments. Comments were like, awesome, great. They don't deserve to be here, whatever. So on and so forth. But then like, maybe you don't have a lot of money. Like, I think about all the reasons why this is a bad idea other than it being good. I don't understand why it's a good idea. I don't. I'll be honest with you. right? Why, if you have a community of people on Facebook or anywhere else, right, we have a group of people together, whatever it is, whether you talk about things, whether you sell bottles, whether you talk and sell bottles, right? It's a community, right? If there's people that are doing things in the group that shouldn't be doing them, like they're trying to sell air duct cleaning services, kick them the shit out, right? Kick them the hell out. That's different, right? But if you have a community of people that are part of a group, whether they interact or not, maybe they just like reading, maybe they don't like interacting, maybe they're not on Facebook that much, right? Maybe they learn from other people, maybe it's interesting content to them, right? Like there's lots of reasons to be part of a community, and a lot of people get different things out of that community. So I struggle knowing that, right? Saying that, like me, I didn't interact all the time. I bought one bottle. When I didn't interact, I was polite, I was kind, right? But I liked reading things. I liked seeing what new releases were coming out. I liked reading people's feedback. I liked seeing, posts that people would put. It was interesting content. That's why I was still part of the group. I wouldn't be part of the group if I didn't want to be part of the group. So it was interesting content for me. This is basically saying, if you ain't purchased a bottle, you're fucking out. You're done. And I'm like, is this about community, or are you running a liquor store online? Right? I don't get it. Right? You from my perspective, my opinion's my opinion, so I have a right to it. What if you were part of the group and didn't have a lot of money, right? But you liked the content that, again, was in the group, so you participated, you did things, you I don't know, you were just part of it, right? What if you didn't like the picks, right? Maybe there's something going on personally in your life, or you just didn't want one of those picks. Like, I don't understand why people are being punished for not buying bottles. Again, it's that person's group. They can do whatever the hell they want with it. That's fine. But again, this whole aspect that I've always heard and continue to hear from everybody is, it's a great community. There's great people. Oh, we go to this event. Oh, the community is great. I see video after video of people all together that know each other. That's fantastic, right? But like, what's the, like, if you're not part of that little group, are you part of their community? Like, would they accept you in? Would they even talk to you? Right? If you don't buy a bottle in a group, you get kicked out now. I'm like, come on, man. Like, that was, again, to each their own. But I challenge, I think people lose sight of what this all is about, right? If you're in it to make money, then you need to be crystal clear about that when you create a Facebook page or whatever, to say, hey, if you're going to be part of this group, you need to buy X barrels a year or X bottles a year. Excuse me. I'm sorry. You need to interact once a month. I don't know, right? Whatever that looks like to you, you need to be crystal clear about it. And again, I don't recall that when I joined this group. I probably would not have joined this group if that were the restrictions. But this is the first. I've been a part of this group now for a year. I think maybe even longer than that. And I've never seen that post before, ever, right? So it's kind of like, why? Like, I don't get it. Like, it takes, to me, it's taking the community aspect out of something that I really feel like this whole bourbon world, right? And I talked the last podcast about like the guys that are doing cigars, right? But it's still community, right? They might not drink, but we have a little bit of a likeness because I smoke cigars occasionally, right? Or they may drink bourbon occasionally, right? Or we podcast together, right? Maybe we don't do either. Maybe I don't smoke cigars. Maybe they don't drink at all, but because drinking and cigars kind of go together, like pours of bourbon and cigars go together, right? And we have like podcasters reasons to build a community around each other. If they're good people, you like them, they support you, you support them. That's what a community is. So to have a Facebook page with what I recall as no strict rules about you have to buy bottles to be a part of it, And then to have that page just all of a sudden drop a alert, purge info, these people haven't bought bottles in X amount of time, or these people haven't bought any bottles, you're gone. I don't like it. I just don't. I immediately, I don't even know what my situation was. I bought one bottle. I don't remember how long ago it was. I read the comments and I thought about it, and I literally went to the page of that Facebook page and just unjoined. I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to be part of this. It goes against everything I believe in, right? I always tell you to each your own. If that's the way that you want to, to do your thing, right? You do you. If I don't agree with it, I don't agree with it. It's just everyone has a right to an opinion, right? So I don't know. I was really taken aback by that. And I was like, you know what? I got to do a podcast on it, because I think it was something that I think it's a challenge. All right, here's where I think it gets me. It's a challenge for each of us. Decide why you're in this, right? Be purposeful about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and the people you're doing it with. Do you want to just do this to get likes, make money, sell bottles, be like get a blue check on your name? Cool. Do that, right? Do you want to do this as a hobby, right? Are you doing this as a hobby? It's fun. You enjoy interacting with people. You're open to those kind of things. You like to hear from people. Then you want to build a community, then do that. If you just want to occasionally post and interact with somebody in your leisure time and you don't want to put a lot of effort into it, that's fine. Do that too. And you can grow into anything else you want it to become, right? But decide why you're in this and be crystal clear to the people that why you're in this, so you don't, man, that you're not creating a community around what is you're not creating something that it looks like it is, but it really, really isn't, right? I just don't think it's fair to people then to invest their time, invest their money. I would have never bought that bottle from the group if I had known that that's what it was about. I wouldn't have supported it. I don't like that, right? I don't. So just again, be purposeful about the people what you're doing, your reason for doing it, and who you're doing it with, right? Make sure everybody understands that the groups of guys that I'm around. Hey, let me see if it's funny, right? As I'm talking, let me see if I can find something too. I share this with my friends, my friend group as well, and kind of shared how it pissed me off. And I was like, man, I'm like, that's crazy. Shit. Let me try to see if I can find it. Anyway, just be purposeful about it, right? Again, we talk. Oh, here it is, right? We don't have a whiskey club. He said we have a whiskey club. Pines, Pipes, and Drams cracks me up. I was just like, I went on my soapbox about it, and I was like, so much for this community aspect of it all. But he put some points on here, with like, our little group of friends, right? And he's like, I trust I trust your palates, and like why our like group is not better than, but like why it's a community, right? Why it's something that we all can like trust, believe in, have a connection to, that kind of thing. So like, he's like, I trust your palates over any expert or notes from a distillery. Not mine, perhaps, but I trust Jordan and Michael's and Jerome's over mine any day, because I'm not good at it. He says we look out for each other and help each other find the shit we want, right? So fucking true, right? We just look out for each other in our personal lives too, and that's the thing too. It's a community, right? We're there and closely connected to each other. When we need to unload stuff, we don't rip each other off. Another great point, right? If I want to unload something and somebody wants it, I'm not going to charge them I'm not going to be a jerk about it. It's just not cool. We don't have any judgment between any of us. We have various differing opinions on a lot of different things. but we appreciate each other for who we all are. We appreciate our palates for what they all are and the way we live our lives, and we just don't judge anybody from it. We don't charge any dues or initiation fees. True that, man. Come on, man. If you're going to be a true community, there's no freaking initiation fees. He says, pores are always on the house with no fine print. And that's the damn truth, right? That's the thing, too. It's like, hey, you can come over to my house anytime you want, do whatever you want, drink whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Just come enjoy yourself. But that's the thing with it, right? Is like, that's what a community is all about. You're there to support each other. There's no unwritten rules. There's no purge info all of a sudden. There's this true support for everybody in the community, no matter what your likes and dislikes are. And you're open-minded. You learn new things. So, and I think, again, that's why I even say talk about the podcast thing, right? Is because I'm starting to then now be part of a larger community of podcasters as well, because we have something in common, which is podcasting, but other things as well. And the support from within that community has been fantastic. So let me tell you a little bit about who I'm supporting, just to give shout outs to everybody as well, because I always want to do that. First of all, thanks for listening to Community My Ass. I probably rambled. I've been struggling to think of like notes, talking points to that. And it's been difficult because it was frustrating. And it again, something, if you ever meet me in person and you ever get to know me, I am like who I am. Like this that you get on the podcast is who I am. I don't play. I don't pretend to be somebody else or anything like that. I am truly who I am. I can be a little corny at times. I can be a little obscene at times. I can be quiet at times. I can be a little loud at times. But who you hear is who you get. So it like seeing that and reading that, which was, again, took me a little bit aback because that was not what I was expecting or what I signed up for. Not signed up for, but when I joined the community, that's not what I remember it to be. So just kind of put me in a different direction. So let's talk about community here for a minute. Big shout out to podcast Children of the 80s, Jim and Lindsay. If you're an 80s kid, go listen to them. You guys are going to hear this every podcast, so you got to go listen. Smoking Sounds podcast with Sean talks about pints. Oh, no, not pints. Sorry, God, smoking pints, pipes, and drams. I'm thinking of Michael. Go listen to Sean. They do cigars, pipes, and music, and they pair them all together. They had a really good episode just recently too. I think it was a Valentine's Day episode where I think Sean's wife was on. They were talking about like skating back in the day and like the 80s songs that they were skating to and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. That was a good episode. And then Pipes and Sticks with Chase. Go listen to him. Go find him on Instagram too. Great guy, great first episode of his podcast. I'm looking forward to the next one as well. But lots of good content with cigars and pipes, which I still have a lot to learn. So they've been wealths of information and knowledge to me. So big shout out to them. If Instagram people, good follows. Mr. Givens, one. Nerds and Burbs, another. Pints, Pipes, and Drams, the other. And Woodstock Whiskey Society as well. So great guys, go give them a follow as well. I know that you'll like their content, definitely. So that's going to do it for this episode. Thanks, guys, for listen to me, bitch. I'm going to get less of these bitch episodes, I think, together. But anyways, like I said, I'm not going to get back on the soapbox. Thanks for listening to me complain. Appreciate it. Tell me what you think, right? I literally, somebody's going to figure out. Somebody's going to listen to the podcast and go, I know exactly the post you're talking about. I'm either going to get chastised for it, whatever, or they're going to agree with me, or they'll just have a differing opinion. And differing opinion is fine. Like, that's cool. Like, I respect you for your opinion. Like, that's the other thing about this world nowadays. Because of social media, it's so easy to find opinions. It's so easy to connect with people that have the same opinion as you. People have forgotten how to understand and to listen to people of various opinions and maybe not agree with them, but understand, maybe not even understand them, hear them out, like talk to them about it and move on. And you don't have to hate each other because you have a differing opinion. Like, you just don't. But social media makes it so easy now that you can do that. So it's for those of you that are not like that, congratulations. I appreciate you. And if you have a differing opinion about this topic, cool. Don't hate. If you hate me because of it, well, then you're one of those people that can just go back to your little group of people that you all have like opinions on and go from there. But if you appreciate my opinion, you don't have to agree with it, right? But you can understand it from my perspective, and we continue to stay connected. That's awesome too. I appreciate you for that. So anyways, I'm rambling. We're done. This has been the Dram Amateur Podcast. Thank you guys all so much for listening and all of your support. Cheers to all of you. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. This has been the Dram Amateur Podcast.